잠시 후 1시 10분부터 2025학년도 대학 수학능력시험 9월 모의평가 3교시 영어 영역 듣기평가 방송을 시작하겠습니다. 수험생 여러분은 편안한 마음으로 방송에 귀를 기울여 주시고 감독 선생님께서는 스피커의 음량을 알맞게 조절해 주십시오. 수험생 여러분은 답안을 작성하기 전에 반드시 답안지 왼쪽 해당欄에 성명, 수험번호 등을 정확하게 기입하고 표기하였는지 확인하시기 바랍니다. 답란에 정답을 표기하기 전에 답안지에 있는 수험생 준수사항을 꼭 확인하십시오. 듣기평가 문제는 1번부터 17번까지입니다. 방송을 잘 듣고 문제지에 있는 5개의 답지 중에서 맞는 답 하나만 골라 답안지에 해당 란에 바르게 표기하십시오. 듣기평가는 타정 없이 시작됩니다. 이제 문제지 표지를 넘기시기 바랍니다. 그러면 지금부터 3교시 영어 영역 듣기평가를 시작하겠습니다. 1번부터 17번까지는 듣고 답하는 문제입니다. 1번부터 15번까지는 한 번만 들려주고 16번부터 17번까지는 2번 들려줍니다. 방송을 잘 듣고 답을 하시기 바랍니다. 1번, 다음을 듣고 여자가 하는 말의 목적으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Hello, everyone at Philston High School. This is Principal Jackson. This announcement is to inform students and staff of the school elevator repair schedule. As you know, the school elevator stopped working yesterday. It's scheduled to be repaired starting at 1 p.m. this afternoon. The repair is expected to take about 3 hours. In the meantime, you'll have to continue using the stairs. Once again, please be aware that the school elevator will be undergoing repairs from 1 p.m. to about 4 p.m. today. We'll announce when the elevator is running again. Sorry for the inconvenience.
(2번) 대화를 듣고 남자의 의견으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Oh, Susan, you're eating lunch here in the office.
Hi, Aaron. I've been bringing my own lunch.
That's why I haven't seen you in the company cafeteria recently. Wait, that's a lot of chicken breast for one meal.
Yeah, I've been eating a lot of protein for each meal these days because I want to build bigger muscles.
Well, it seems that you're eating too much protein. Overconsuming protein is unhealthy.
Don't we need a lot of protein to build bigger muscles?
Yes, but too much protein can cause stomach aches.
Oh, that's probably why I've felt uncomfortable after each meal lately.
Besides, eating too much protein may cause calcium loss. It can lead to poor bone health.
Really? I didn't know that.
So, taking in too much protein is harmful for your health.
I see. Then I'll cut down on the amount of protein I eat.
(3번) 다음을 듣고 여자가 하는 말의 요지로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Hello, fellow teachers. Welcome back to my video channel, Ms. Freeman's Teaching Tips. Do you have difficulty developing good relationships with your students? I understand how that can be frustrating. Here's a tip. Calling your students by their names can help you develop a good relationship with them. It'll show the students that you're interested in them, and they'll feel more comfortable with you. Then, the students will be more likely to open up to you. So, call your students by their names, and it'll contribute to building a good relationship with them. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.
사 번 대화를 듣고 그림에서 대화의 내용과 일치하지 않는 것을 고르시오.
Ellen, yesterday I visited the new cafe we talked about last week.
Really? Is it nice?
Yes, it is. Look, here's a picture of the cafe.
It seems lovely. There's a leaf-shaped mirror on the wall.
Right. It's so unique. What do you think about the painting between the windows?
Whoever painted it is really talented. I also like the two flower pots on the shelf. They're so pretty.
They really brighten up the room. And do you see the star-patterned tablecloth?
Yes, it's eye-catching. Oh, the round rug is really neat.
It creates a comfortable mood.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'll definitely visit the cafe when I have the chance.
오 번 대화를 듣고 남자가 할 일로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Andy, our art club's visit to the Wayneville Art Museum is just a week away.
Right, Miss Peterson. Our club members are really excited to see the Jonathan Vinston exhibit. He's so popular on social media nowadays.
Great! For transportation, I arranged for a bus to take us there. Have you and the other students decided what we'll eat for lunch?
Yes. Yesterday, I ordered 25 sandwiches.
Excellent. Do our members know about the meeting time and place?
Not yet. Do you want me to text them the details?
No, I'll do that.
Thank you. Have you booked the admission tickets?
Of course. I've received the online confirmation. Oh, it might be good to provide the members with information about the artist beforehand.
Okay. I'll make a handout about him right away.
Thanks. I'm sure everyone will enjoy the visit.
육 번 대화를 듣고 여자가 지불할 금액을 고르시오.
Welcome to Winsley's Drugstore. How may I help you?
Hi, I need some foot cream for my hiking trip.
What size are you looking for? The small size is $10 and the regular size is $20.
That small size would be handy. I'll take 2.
Good. Anything else?
I also need lip balm.
Is there any particular brand you have in mind?
Not really.
Then, this one is quite popular. It's only $5.
All right, I'll take 6. I'll give them out to my fellow hikers. And that's all.
Okay, so 2 small size foot creams and 6 lip balms, right?
Yes. And I heard there's a sales event this week.
Right. You'll get a 10% discount off the total.
Great. Here's my credit card.
7번. 대화를 듣고 여자가 켄튼 바이오텍 커리어 페어에 갈 수 없는 이유를 고르시오.
Jane, have you heard about the Kenton Biotech Career Fair this Saturday?
Yes, Daniel. It's a one-day event that covers biotechnology, healthcare, and marketing, right?
Yeah. There'll even be special lectures on the subjects. Would you like to go?
I'd like to, but I'm afraid I can't.
Oh, are Saturdays when you're volunteering at the nursing home?
No, that's on Sundays.
Then, do you have to study for your history exam?
I took it last week. Actually, on that day, I have to go to an audition for a musical.
Really? That's awesome. I bet you'll do great.
Thanks. I hope I get the part.
(8번) 대화를 듣고 댈러스시티 샥스의 우승 축하 행사에 관해 언급되지 않은 것을 고르시오.
Dad, I can't believe our Dallas City Sharks won the National Baseball League championship.
Yeah, this is the first championship in their 27-year history. The city's going wild.
There'll be a big celebration to honor this historic victory.
Right. Look, there's an announcement about it on the team's website. It'll be held on Friday, November 1st.
There's no way I'm going to miss it. It says the celebration will take place at Dallas City Sharks Stadium.
I'm sure it'll be crowded. Oh, there's an admission fee.
Yeah, it's $20 per person. Do you want to go with me, Dad?
Sure. Oh, look, there's a list of items that are banned. We're not allowed to bring fireworks or drones.
That makes sense. They can be dangerous in a stadium. Anyway, I can't wait to take part in the celebration.
(9번) 윌리엄튼 호텔 인턴십에 관한 다음 내용을 듣고 일치하지 않는 것을 고르시오.
Welcome to the Williamton Hotel Internship. I'm Matthew Collins, the hotel manager. Let me provide some general guidelines for your internship. This internship will last for 8 weeks, starting today. You'll be working weekdays from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. You must be dressed in your uniform during working hours. Also, you should remember that there'll be a meeting each Monday morning at 9 in this seminar room, where you'll receive your tasks for the week. Your duties will involve food service and table setting. Our staff will be sharing all the details with you about how to perform your tasks and how you'll be evaluated. After this internship, the top 10% of the interns will be employed by the hotel. Thank you.
(10번) 다음 표를 보면서 대화를 듣고 남자가 주문할 전자도어록을 고르시오.
Honey, we need to change the electronic door lock on the front door.
Yeah, so I've been looking online to find a replacement.
Have you found any good options?
These 5 look promising. Take a look. What do you think?
Well, I don't want to spend more than $200.
Okay. How about the case material?
Definitely not the steel one. It looks old-fashioned.
I agree. And I don't like the red one.
Yeah, it wouldn't go well with our door.
Now we're down to these 2. Do you think we need the fingerprint recognition feature?
I don't think we'll use it much. Let's choose the one without it.
Sounds like a good choice. I'll order this one.
(11번) 대화를 듣고 여자의 마지막 말에 대한 남자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Josh, it's already 3 o'clock. Isn't your dentist appointment at 3:30 today?
Oh no. Mom, we've been chatting for so long. I think I'm going to be late. Can you give me a ride?
Sure, I can do that. I'm free this afternoon.
(12번) 대화를 듣고 남자의 마지막 말에 대한 여자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Honey, I don't see any onions in the shopping bags.
Let me check. Oh, we forgot to buy them again. And we also didn't remember to buy milk.
Well, how about making a grocery list before we go shopping next time?
(13번) 대화를 듣고 여자의 마지막 말에 대한 남자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Hello, Benjamin Cooking Academy. How can I help you?
Hi, I'd like to register for Chef Antonio's Italian cooking class for beginners.
All right. Chef Antonio teaches that class on 2 different days.
When are they?
He has a weekday class on Tuesdays and a weekend class on Saturdays.
I'll take the weekend class because I can't do weekdays.
Oh, I'm sorry. That class is full this month.
Oh no, I really want to learn from Chef Antonio. I'm a big fan of his online cooking videos. Will he teach the same class next month?
Yes, that's correct.
Can I register for that class now?
Sorry, registration starts next Monday.
(14번) 대화를 듣고 남자의 마지막 말에 대한 여자의 응답으로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Kristen, you seem worried. What's wrong?
Well, Grandpa, I'm feeling down these days. I did horribly in the coding competition last week, even though I'd prepared really hard.
It's all right. It happens to everyone.
It's not only that. I have a chemistry presentation coming up, and I'm afraid I'm going to mess that up too.
You've been working so hard on it that I'm sure you'll do great. Maybe you just need to boost your confidence.
But I don't know how.
How about getting involved in physical activities? You can go for a bike ride.
How does riding a bike help boost my confidence?
It causes the release of endorphins, which can lead to a boost in confidence.
Okay, I'll give it a try. But I don't want to ride alone.
Why don't you join me? You know I ride a bike every evening.
15번. 다음 상황 설명을 듣고 로저가 모니카에게 할 말로 가장 적절한 것을 고르시오.
Roger and Monica are close friends. Monica has 2 dogs, and one of them gave birth to 4 puppies recently. Now, she's looking for someone to adopt one of the puppies because she cannot raise all of them by herself. She asks Roger if he can adopt one. Roger's been thinking about raising a dog himself. He knows how to take care of dogs since he's spent a lot of time with Monica's dogs. However, he's currently living with one of his coworkers. So, Roger wants to tell Monica that he needs to first make sure that his roommate agrees with him adopting a puppy. In this situation, what would Roger most likely say to Monica?
16번부터 17번까지는 2번 들려줍니다. 16번과 17번. 다음을 듣고 물음에 답하시오.
Good morning, students. Today we're going to learn about the key characteristics that enable some animals to reach high speeds. First, there's no animal faster on land than the cheetah. Its flexible backbone and joints allow for extreme extension, enabling it to stretch its legs very far and push off its back legs with great force, like a spring. Second, the falcon is one of the fastest birds. Its large breastbone allows more muscle to be attached to it, so it can beat its wings with greater power. Third, the swordfish is among the fastest fish in the sea. It releases a special, slippery oil from its head that coats the front of its body, enabling it to swim with less resistance. Lastly, the dragonfly is considered the world's fastest flying insect. It has the unique ability to slightly twist its wings as they swing down, causing a small tornado-like wind that gives it a boost of speed. Now let's watch a video of nature's speedsters.
다시 한번 듣겠습니다.
Good morning, students. Today we're going to learn about the key characteristics that enable some animals to reach high speeds. First, there's no animal faster on land than the cheetah. Its flexible backbone and joints allow for extreme extension, enabling it to stretch its legs very far and push off its back legs with great force, like a spring. Second, the falcon is one of the fastest birds. Its large breastbone allows more muscle to be attached to it, so it can beat its wings with greater power. Third, the swordfish is among the fastest fish in the sea. It releases a special, slippery oil from its head that coats the front of its body, enabling it to swim with less resistance. Lastly, the dragonfly is considered the world's fastest flying insect. It has the unique ability to slightly twist its wings as they swing down, causing a small tornado-like wind that gives it a boost of speed. Now let's watch a video of nature's speedsters.
16번. 남자가 하는 말의 주제로 가장 적절한 것은? 17번. 언급된 동물이 아닌 것은? 이제 듣기 문제가 끝났습니다. 18번부터는 문제지의 지시에 따라 답을 하시기 바랍니다.
27. Wabat Jungle Yoga. In this program, you can rediscover forgotten rhythms of your life while experiencing both yoga and the jungle. Many travelers join us again year after year. Where? Waba Jungle Yoga Center in Kroiwan Wat, doing yoga on the deck outside, bird watching in the jungle, hiking in the jungle with a guide, lodging, beautifully crafted bungalow, no private restroom inside bungalow, but common restrooms easily accessible. Application: visit our website at www.wabustar.com and fill out the application form online. For more information, email us at wabu@mail.com. Transportation: it is offered from the airport to the yoga center. '28. Under the Sea Mascot Contest, design a unique marine animal mascot, reflecting the theme of marine ecosystem conservation. Schedule submission period, September 15th to October 15th. Judging period, October 16th to October 20th. Winner announcement, October 21st. Prizes: number of winners, prize money, per winner, first prize, $1,000, second prize, $1, 7,003 RD prize, 2, $500. Guidelines: there is no participation fee, the design must be in JPG format. Maximum file size, 10 megabytes, each participant must submit one mascot design. Assessment criteria: creativity percentage 50%, relevance to theme, attractiveness 30%, 20%. You can find more information at www.eco-sayastar.org. 26. Claude Shannon was an American mathematician and information scientist, famous for being the father of information theory. As a child, he was interested in electrical devices and built a telegraph that connected to his friend's home half a mile away. At age 21, he started his master's program in electrical engineering. His master's thesis on digital computing theory has been called the most important master's thesis of all time. During World War II, he worked to help win the war by inventing a machine that helped destroy German rockets. In 1950, with the help of his wife, he built a machine capable of learning by itself. This machine was viewed as part of the foundation of artificial intelligence. In 1958, he became a full professor at MIT and continued to teach there for more than 20 years. A biography written about his life called him the most important genius you've never heard of. '25. The above graph shows the percentages of U.S. shoppers who read online reviews before making purchases in 2015 by product category and age group. Of all the above categories, people from each age group tended to read online reviews the most, by percentage, before buying electronics. The age group least likely to read online reviews before buying a car was the 18-34 age group. The percentage of people in the 35-54 age group using online reviews before making purchases of household appliances was more than twice that of people in the same age group using online reviews before purchasing clothes. For people who read online reviews before purchasing household appliances, the percentage of people aged 35-54 was higher than that of those aged 18-34 and lower than that of those aged 55+. The percentage of people reading online reviews before buying clothes was less than 30% for each of the three age groups. '18. Dear AI Summer Program participants, I am your instructor John Phillips. I am excited about your enthusiasm for expanding your familiarity with AI by registering for our AI Summer Program. Thanks to your interest, more participants enrolled in our program than we expected. Therefore, the original lecture room does not have enough seating for all the participants. So, we have decided to move the location to make space for everyone. The program was supposed to be held in Classroom 502 in the Ranark building, but it will be changed to Classroom 103 in the Whitewood building. Thank you for your understanding. I am looking forward to meeting you all. Sincerely, John Phillips. '19. Sierra shook as she walked back and forth in front of her professor's office. The week before, she had turned in her art assignment, and today, Professor Fox had asked Sierra to come see her. Oh, no. Sierra thought, what if she thinks my paintings are horrible? Sierra's sweating hand turned the door handle. Professor Fox smiled and said, Sierra, your paintings were amazing and so unique. Can I display them at the school exhibition? Sierra smiled brightly as she exclaimed, oh, this is so wonderful. It's always been a dream of mine to share my art with others. This is the best day ever. 1. Angry - a calm. 2. Frustrated - a bored. 3. Nervous - delighted. 4. Relieved - a surprised. 5. Thrilled - a panicked. '20. Showing up late for work and using abusive language are the kinds of problems that every business wants to eliminate. Business leaders looking to achieve this often focus on finding bad apples who break their rules and then punishing them. This assumes that the bad apples are acting badly on purpose. In fact, one common reason that employees give for breaking rules is that they were unaware their behavior was undesirable. There are some actors who knowingly act against policy, but many problems are unintentional failings. If businesses want better employees, those businesses must create clear standards and educate their employees directly about how to follow them. Without these standards, there would be no way to distinguish bad apples from merely uninformed apples. One reason that people participate in social media is because it builds social relations. We increase our social capital when we successfully engage in social media. Social capital describes the networks of relationships we have that are built on mutuality and sharing of identity, understanding, norms, and values. We build ties that may pay off with a job lead or a letter of recommendation. We reinforce our identities through our online presentation in a personal blog or our profile. The premise behind the notion of social capital is rather simple and straightforward: investment in social relations with expected returns, noted sociologist Nan Lin. Lin's work stresses that it is who you know as much as what you know that shapes our experience in society. With new media, our reach of connecting is all the greater, expanding our who you know to greater and greater lengths. In writing a life, the life narrator and the biographer engage different kinds of evidence. Most biographers incorporate multiple forms of evidence, including historical documents, interviews, and family archives, which they evaluate for validity. Relatively few biographers use their personal memories of their subject as reliable evidence, unless they had a personal relationship to the subject of the biography, as a relative, child, friend, or colleague. For life narrators, by contrast, personal memories are the primary archival source. They may have recourse to other kinds of sources, letters, journals, photographs, conversations, and to their knowledge of a historical moment. But the usefulness of such evidence for their stories lies in the ways in which they employ that evidence to support, supplement, or offer commentary on their personalized acts of remembering. In autobiographical narratives, imaginative acts of remembering always overlap with such rhetorical acts as assertion, justification, judgment, conviction, and questioning. Point 1. Role of personal memories in different types of life storytelling. 2. Advantages of documenting evidence-based family histories. 3. Influence of the source types on the quality of life narratives. 4. Similarity of data sources in describing a person's life. 5. Crucial conditions for the success of life narrators. Monasteries were the engine rooms of the Middle Ages. At the height of their activities and influence, monasteries provided intellectual leadership for the institutions of church and civil governments, innovation in religious thought and practice, medical provision, education, visual culture, and agricultural development. They did all this while apparently observing self-imposed isolation from the wider community. For monasteries were intended to function as places set apart from the world, in which monks devoted their lives to a permanent rhythm of religious observance, prayer, and study. Religious prayer and praise lay at the heart of monasticism. Both those following this life and those outside believed that monastic lives were led for the benefit of wider society, and that the sacrifices made by monks in separating themselves from normal human contact functioned as penances on behalf of the community as well as for their own deliverance. Monks were regarded as leading parallel lives that had the power to save themselves and others. 1. How to gain religious and social benefits from monastery life. 2. Why the Middle Ages demanded religious figures be isolated. 3. The grace of solitude, detached from but attached to society. 4. No sacrificial leaders, no flowering of civilization. 5. Mystery of power, the politics of peace and solitude. (41-42). While social presence has evolved through many iterations since its first development within the context of the landline telephone, the perception or feeling of being connected with the other person within the context of the conversation has persisted. Some research has explored specific technologies and the extent to which their characteristics lead to a feeling of social presence. For example, some researchers have studied the richness of the media, or the number of cues available to convey social presence. A telephone call, which provides for audio cues and immediate feedback, is potentially richer than an email, which provides only textual cues and no immediate feedback. Video conferencing would be considered richer than the phone because of the addition of visual cues, making it closer to replicating a perceived gold standard of face-to-face, in-person social presence. Researchers have suggested that successful managers would choose rich media for confusing or ambiguous messages and lean or less rich media for messages that were less routine in nature. For example, if you wanted to discuss a complicated client agreement, it would be best to choose a face-to-face meeting. In contrast, if you were going to inform your team about a change in meeting time from 3 to 3:30, you might send out a generic email to everyone. These different channels of communication were considered by researchers as a type of container that the message comes in. To be a good communicator, you need to choose the right container. 1. Which channel is what matters in successful communication? 2. Cutting-edge containers for effective social communication. 3. Immediate feedback, a royal road to successful management. 4. How has social presence evolved with social channels? 5. The richer, the better. Top priority in container choice. (43-45). Part A. Mike had always dreamed about going to a baseball game. He watched his favorite team, the Arrows, on TV all the time, but he had never seen a game in person. One afternoon, Mike's dad came home earlier than usual. "Hey, Mike," he said, "I just got 2 tickets for tonight's Arrows game. Do you want to go?" Mike was so excited that he ran to grab his Arrows hat. In the car, his dad handed him a new baseball glove and added, "Just in case a fly ball comes our way." Part B. Several hours later, Mike's favorite team hit a home run and won the game. Fireworks filled the sky, and the team song played throughout the stadium. When they got home, Mike told his mom all about his favorite plays and showed her the ball he caught. He knew this was a day he would never forget. It wasn't just the game, it was the cheering, the excitement, and best of all, spending time with his dad. He couldn't wait for the next time they would get to go to a game. Part C. The stadium was full of people wearing Arrows shirts. Mike couldn't believe how big the stadium looked in person. As the players ran onto the field, Mike and his dad cheered for their team's players. His dad pointed at the player running out to third base, saying, "Look, it's Chavez, your favorite player." Mike saw him warming up on the field and waved, hoping to get his attention. After the players warmed up, Mike and his dad went to get some snacks. As soon as they sat back down, the pitcher threw the first pitch. Part D. Before long, it was Chavez's turn to hit. He hit a high fly ball into the stands. The whole crowd stood up, but Mike reached up with his glove and grabbed the ball. Everyone clapped and smiled at Mike. He tightly held the ball and felt a little surprised, but very proud. Both teams kept scoring and the game stayed close. Mike and his dad cheered for every hit and held their breath during every big play. They high-fived each other every time the Arrows scored. 21. Here is a fundamental quality of music. Note names repeat because of a perceptual phenomenon that corresponds to the doubling and halving of frequencies. When we double or have a frequency, we end up with a note that sounds remarkably similar to the one we started out with. This relationship, a frequency ratio of 2 to 1 or 1 to 2, is called the octave. It is so important that, in spite of the large differences that exist between musical cultures, every culture we know of has the octave as the basis for its music, even if it has little else in common with other musical traditions. This phenomenon leads to the notion of circularity in pitch perception, and is similar to circularity in colors. Although red and violet fall at opposite ends of the continuum of visible frequencies of electromagnetic energy, we see them as perceptually similar. The same is true in music, and music is often described as having two dimensions, one that accounts for tones going up in frequency and another that accounts for the perceptual sense that we've come back home again each time we double a tone's frequency. One. Identified tonal differences within the same octave. 2. Return to the original note with an identical frequency. 3. Reached a note named the same but with a different pitch. 4. Restored musical sensitivity by adapting to various octaves. 5. Constructed frequency patterns from notes with the same name. (29) Honey can be eaten by itself or mixed with other ingredients. Natural or pure honey has had no additives, preservatives, or synthetic ingredients added. Also referred to as undiluted, it is usually more expensive than diluted honeys. Natural honey can also be called blended honey, which honeys from various sources are blended together and not by the bees, but by human processors and distributors in stages after the honey has been collected. Blending is frequently done for taste as well as marketing reasons, especially since some consumers find the darker honeys too strong. Mixing different types of honey together can make it more palatable, and also gives a more uniform flavor, and this is an important consideration for producers and retailers, who feel the need to guarantee reliable, unsurprising, typically mild, flavors to their customers. Clover is one of the most popular honeys in the US, and its mild flavor and taste have become familiar to many Americans. (30) What is soft-path river engineering? One way to visualize its spirit is to liken it to a footpath in the forest. Suppose a tree falls across a footpath. A soft-path response would be simply to redirect the trail around the fallen tree. A more interventionist response would be to remove the tree and restore the original route. A still more interventionist response might be to straighten and pave the path to insert it more permanently in the landscape. The true high modernist step would, of course, be to create a superhighway that removes the landscape and bulldozes straight through all obstacles in the topography. Soft path engineering has the unique advantage of intellectual modesty with respect to what we actually know about river movement and its environmental effects. In contrast to hard path engineering, soft path engineering accepts variability in the river's movement as insignificant until proven otherwise. Backwaters, short-lived wetlands, braids and channels, swamps are all undesirable to hard path engineering or are presumed by soft path engineers to be ecologically important. (35) All workers need access to mentors that can provide them with valuable information about their job, their workplace, and the resources that are available within their organization. Mentors also provide much-needed psychosocial support. Having a diverse network of mentors is important for dominant and minority group members alike. Minority group members need diverse mentors so that they can gain insight into what it means to be employed by a particular organization or in a particular field or profession. Majority workers benefit by having a network of diverse mentors because it increases their understanding and sensitivity to the unique realities of diverse workers and their own identity, and perhaps even their own forms of privilege. Mentoring has been typically required and praised as an essential component in the personal development of employers. The ultimate goal of these mentoring opportunities is to have individuals be more informed, identified, and engaged in their work and in their organization. (40) In most fiction, characters' lives are limited to the individual work. Readers may disagree on the characteristics and traits of fictional figures, and in drama there is room for different interpretations of characters. However, it is less common for characters in literary fiction to reappear in subsequent works than in genre fiction, where series featuring the same central characters are common. This is even more pronounced in comics, which are typically serialized in newspaper strips or comic books. Thus, characters introduced in the 1930s, like Superman and Batman, may still enjoy new adventures decades later. During these characters' long histories, they change in various ways for a variety of reasons. If a character is created by a single author, like Sherlock Holmes, the character's core traits may change little from story to story, but readers learn more about him with each successive story. On the other hand, if characters are the work of several hands over decades, they may change considerably. While characters in most literary fiction hardly ever in successive works, those in genre fiction and comics often do so, and may undergo in their traits especially when written about by different authors over time. 1. Resurface-simplification, 2. Endure-degradation, 3. Fade-variation, 4. Feature-transformation, 5. Disappear-fossilization. (36) Traditionally, when teachers teach writing, they assign topics for students to write on. Perhaps they do a bit of brainstorming about the topic during a pre-writing phase, and then have students write about the topic without interruption. In process writing, on the other hand, students may initially brainstorm ideas about a topic and begin writing, but then they have repeated conferences with the teacher and the other students, during which they receive feedback on their writing up to that point, make revisions, based on the feedback they receive, and carry on writing. In this way, students learn to view their writing as someone else's reading and to improve both the expression of meaning and the form of their writing as they draft and redraft. Process writing shifts the emphasis in teaching writing from evaluation to revision. Subsequently, teachers collect and evaluate what students have written. Such instruction is very product-oriented. There is no involvement of the teacher in the act or process of writing. 37. Perhaps at some point you have seen some mathematical writing and not understood it. The complicated notations that might spring to mind are all those strange dashes, squiggles, and letters are obvious signs, but a lot of those are really quite modern. Mathematics had been going on for a long time before the dashes and squiggles were invented. You would not be the first, rest assured. Even professional mathematicians sometimes have to rely on discussions with colleagues to properly understand problems they are looking at. But how do you recognize some writing is mathematical in the first place? Put simply, there has to be something mathematical going on for us to say that it is mathematics. And if we are dealing with writing from a very distant past, in a language that is not familiar to us, from a time even before recorded language, that can be sometimes difficult to recognize. As winter approaches, the length of the day shortens, the temperature drops, and plants, including trees, can detect this change. It is worth pointing out that leaves don't drop to the ground because they are dying, or rather, the tree initiates an active process of clever recycling called senescence. A tree, like an oak for example, would struggle to survive through a harsh winter if it retained its canopy of leaves. It would risk damage from strong winter winds and would lose more water from its leaves than it could draw up from the frozen ground. If it didn't blow over, it would die of thirst. It signals to them that it is time to lose their leaves. First, however, trees carefully suck all of the useful nutrients out of the leaves and then, with surgical precision, block up that pathway into the leaves. That blocked pathway at the base of the leaf stem creates a weakness and, in the wind, the leaves snap off and fall to the ground. The problem of survival lies at the root of many of the historians' problems, for what has survived may not necessarily be more significant than what has not survived. Historians use evidence in order to understand what happened and why it happened. In architectural history, this evidence may take the form of the buildings themselves or their remains, and documents such as plans, drawings, descriptions, diaries, or bills. Our picture of any period of history is derived from a multitude of sources, such as the paintings, literature, deeds, buildings, and other artifacts that have survived. The Egyptian pyramids have survived thousands of years, but historical significance is not just a question of durability. These buildings were part of a rich and diverse culture, much of which has been lost. They are historical facts, but facts by themselves, even such massive facts as the pyramids, are just the first stage in any historical study, and until they have been evaluated, placed in context, and interpreted, they tell us little. Different historians may place different values on the same facts, and the discovery of new evidence may modify or change existing theories and interpretations. We know that animals have evolved a variety of patterns to manipulate the perceptions of their predators to afford themselves a modicum of safety. Greater bower birds utilize in the mating domain. Males construct a bower. Its function is to provide an arena in which males display to females standing in an avenue that leads up to the bower. The males decorate the avenue with a variety of objects, such as stones and shells. But they do not do so in a chaotic manner. The larger objects are placed closer to the bower and the smaller objects farther away. This creates a forced perspective, the opposite of the Cinderella castle. The bower appears smaller than it actually is. Endler and his colleagues suggested that the male courting in the bower now appears larger and thus more attractive to the female. Data on male mating success collected in the wild supports their hypothesis. 1. Genetic variations. 2. Perceptual biases. 3. Vocal attractiveness. 4. Decorating skills. 5. Locational advantages. Although empathy is widely praised by scholars and public figures, not everyone is an empathy booster. Critics of empathy argue that empathy will not save us from interpersonal and intergroup conflict. In fact, they argue, empathy makes such conflicts worse. These critics maintain that empathy can be exhausting and lead to burnout, insensitivity to suffering, or worse. They argue that we tend to empathize strongly with our in-group and resist empathizing with outgroups, and even enjoy the suffering of outgroups in competitive or threatening contexts. Thus, the prescription for more empathy. Empathy, they argue, can further entrench conflict and force us into an us versus them mentality. Finally, even when we try to empathize with others who are dissimilar from us or in unfamiliar contexts, sometimes we are unable to accurately empathize with their experiences, causing further misunderstandings and frustration. Critics of empathy argue that we should give up on empathy and employ other tools in pursuit of social harmony, e.g., rational compassion or moral emotions like fear, anger, and shame. 1. Underestimates the invisible conflicts possible within a group. 2. Is triggered by the need for solutions to emotional conflicts. 3. Is often counterproductive in cases of conflict. 4. Functions as a facilitator in the resolution of social disharmony. 5. Raises questions about negative attitudes towards social disharmony. 33. Compared to other ecosystems, forests are relatively diverse, but this should not necessarily be. Wetlands, meadows, and grasslands have a unique biota too, even if it is often not as rich as a forest biota. The ecological problems of this process have been described from a number of places such as Iceland, South Africa, and Australia, but the classic example of this comes from Scotland and northern England. Here the Forestry Commission has drained, fertilized, and fenced extensive areas of wetlands to facilitate turning them into forests. Increasing the extent of forests in Britain is certainly a desirable goal, and most of the Forestry Commission's efforts are directed towards sites that were forested before sheep and their keepers came to the island. However, ecologists frequently complain about the Commission's work because it is not restricted to former forest sites, because the forests established are usually composed of exotic trees, and because the wildlife threatened by this activity includes many uncommon species. 1. Grounds for investigating the value of forest expansion. 2. A basis for extending institutional aid to entire ecosystems. 3. Taken as the reason for introducing exotic species to an ecosystem. 4. Accepted as evidence for increasing ecological enrichment. 5. A justification for converting non-forests into forests. (34) When gathering the preferences of multiple agents into one collective choice, it is easily seen that certain cases. For example, if there are two alternatives, A and B, and two agents such that one prefers A and the other one B, there is no deterministic way of selecting a single alternative without violating one of two basic fairness conditions known as anonymity and neutrality. Anonymity requires that the collective choice ought to be independent of the agents' identities, whereas neutrality requires impartiality towards the alternatives. Allowing lotteries as social outcomes hence seems like a necessity for impartial collective choice. Indeed, most common deterministic social choice functions such as plurality rule are only deterministic as long as there is no tie, which is usually resolved by drawing a lot. The use of lotteries for the selection of officials interestingly goes back to the world's first democracy in Athens, where it was widely regarded as a principal characteristic of democracy, and has recently gained increasing attention in political science. 1. Call for randomization or other means of tiebreaking. 2. Demonstrate how impartial selection could be invalidated. 3. Necessitate deterministic systems of selecting voters blindly. 4. Rely upon neutral agents to establish clear selection guidelines. 5. Require understanding of the unpredictability inherent in democracy.